your knee back and forth. Try and drive the knee over top of the midline of the foot, and then keep that opposite heel planted down to the ground. Now focus on squeezing this glute as well, so we're stretching the hip flexor and not our lower back. We're gonna stay here for another 10 seconds, then I'll get you guys to switch sides, and we'll perform 30 seconds of the same stretch on the opposite leg. Alrighty, so from there, let's get you guys switched over. We're locked in, glute squeeze tight, we're tall, shift that knee forward, do not let that ankle come up, and rock it back and forth. So each stretch is 30 seconds long. I'll cue you guys with about 5 seconds left. We're going to switch, and the stretch takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Really get a deep stretch. This hip flexor is the cause of a lot of people's lower back pains, and if you're sitting around during the COVID, we're going to need this. Okay, so from there, guys, I want you to assume what we call a 90-90 position. So we're going to have our front leg at 90 degrees, back leg at 90 degrees. From here, you're going to keep your chest nice and tall. Keep your hands on the ground, or you can have them up in the air, and we're going to shift our body weight forward and then backwards. And as we start to do this, I'll cue you more and more. So we're going to start up now, and when we rock forward, get the ankle and the knee driven into the ground. Same thing on the way back. Push your ankle, push your knee into the ground, create a little extra tension in there, get a bigger and deeper stretch. We're going to stay here for 10 more seconds, guys. Then we will be switching sides. And let's get everybody switched over. So 90-90, assume that same position. We'll start up in 3, 2, go. Remember what I was talking to you guys about? Drive the knee in, drive the ankle in. The more contact you have through there, the better stretch we're going to get. Perfect, guys. 10 seconds. Then we're going to jump into what we call our hurdle position. All right. So from the next one, Ash will come at you guys dead on. I'll come at you from a side point of view. So we're going to start off in that half kneel. We're going to elevate that back leg now. So from this position, I want one hand placed on my foot. I want the opposite hand placed on the outside of my foot. From here, if my left leg's forward, I'm rotating through my left hand. So my eyes are going to follow my hand. I'm going to rotate myself up, get a stretch through my chest, and then come right back into position. And I will get you guys to start that in 3 seconds, and we'll go for 30 seconds. So 3, 2, and go. Big rotation, open up your chest. Eyes follow the fingers the whole time. And as you're rotating through your left arm, you want to push your right hand directly through the ground. To get a little extra leg stretch, continuously try and outstretch that back leg of yours as well. We got 5 more seconds, and I'll switch you guys over. So we'll start switching up now. Same thing. Hurdle position, one hand down, opposite hand to the other outside of the foot, and let's start our rotations, guys. And same thing, 30 seconds per stretch. Go nice, slow, and controlled. We'll get your heart rates up pretty quick here. So just make sure you're getting the best possible stretch you can. All right, and then from there, I'm going to get everybody to assume our quadruped position. So hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. We're going to do some bear crawling here. So what we'll do here, we're going to go opposite arm, opposite leg, are going to step forward. We're going to do 1 step forward, 1 step backwards. So it's like we're staying in place. So Ash is staying tucked the whole entire time. There's zero movement through her torso. We're going to be doing this for 45 seconds, guys. So we'll assume the bear crawl position. We'll start in 3, 2, and go. Little step. So right arm, left leg, right arm. And now get those brains to fire and try and do it backwards. The best cue I've ever heard for this drill is imagine there is a glass of water on the small of your back. Do not let that water tilt. You don't want to ruin that nice fancy rug. If you find it ever gets too much or you're losing your shape, drop right back down into position, reset yourself, and get going again. Keep at it, guys. We're almost there. Perfect. Okay, and the last one. We're just going to simulate a jumping rope. So I'm going to go on my toes. I'm going to use my wrists, and we're just going to be jumping some rope here. We're in 30 seconds, then the workout starts. Start in 3, 2, go. Use those wrists, guys. Big sweeps. Stay on the toes. Jump it out, because our heart rate's going to be picked up the whole time. 15 seconds. Okay, final 5. Perfect. Good stuff, group. So, for today's workout, this is your time to grab some water if you do want some. We have 4 mini circuits involved. Each circuit is 3 minutes long, and there's 2 exercises in each circuit. So we call this an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. So within the 2 exercises, there's certain reps in them. So the first one we're going to do is called the 1.5 rep squat. We're going to do that for 15 reps. If you do have some weight at home, Karen, I know you're in the house, that laundry detergent would work really well. If you have like a dumbbell, you can hold it right in position here. If you don't have anything, don't worry. There's enough ways to create tension through the body where we don't need weight. We're also going to be doing a push-up mountain climber. So with the push-up and the mountain climber, it's 10 reps. So again, going over the 1.5 rep squats, it's 15. Push-up climber is 10 reps. You're going to go back and forth between those 2 exercises as many times as you possibly can in 3 minutes. Once the 3 minutes is done, Asher's going to jump in. She'll take you through circuit 2 in a very similar fashion. 3, 4, until the end. You guys are all sweaty, and then we'll cool you down. So the first 2 we're going to do, going over them again, is a 1.5 rep squat. So I'll show you guys from a front point of view, and I'll show you guys from a side point of view. So front-wise, get your feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly pushed out. Lock your bum in, lock your inner thighs in, lock your core in. We're going right to 90 degrees, halfway up, all the way down, and up. So 1 full, half, down, and drive yourself out of position. And then the second one in the drill is a push-up climber. So hands directly under your shoulders, push-up position. We're going to go push-up, climb, climb. Push-up, climb, climb. So that counts as 1. Each push-up with a single knee drive, and we go. Make sense, guys? So we're going to go in about 10 seconds. You'll hear our guy from upstairs screaming at us. We'll coach you through everything the whole entire time, and it'll let us know exactly when to rest.
Just remember 15 squats, 10 mountain climbers with the push-up.
Hey, guys, when he says go,
we go.
Set the place on fire for us.
3,
1.5
2,
rep squats.
1, go.
Let's go. Nice. Slow and controlled squats. Like I had mentioned before, lock your bum in. Lock your inner thighs in. If you have that weight, throw it up in position. Soup cans would work. Wine bottles would work. Anything you have. I know Dr. Aaron's got a 50-pound weight in his hands right now. Once you hit your 15, push push-ups. Remember, it's your own workout. You go as fast or as slow as you can. Get those legs to start burning for us, guys.
When you're squatting, make sure you're back on your heels. Chest tall the whole time.
Looking good, Drew. Get right into those push-ups. If you have to go on your knees, find your length, drop to your knees. Push up, slide, slide, knees, up, slide, slide. Whatever works best for you. Solid push-ups, guys.
We are already halfway through this circuit. Keep pushing.
It is surprisingly hard to count and work out at the same time. I definitely give props to Richard Simmons. Hey guys, 1 minute left.
We're just getting warmed up here, right here. Heart rates are going to be elevated next circuit.
Woo. Stay with us, guys. You get a breather, you get some water pretty quick here.
Last 45 seconds.
Solid, guys. Challenge yourself. Remember, exercise is about you versus you, nobody else.
Last 30. Stay in it.
Shake your legs.
Try and get back to your mountain climbers.
If you want your heart rate up a little bit, just pick your mountain climber up and go quicker. Otherwise, nice and slow. Home stretch, guys, 10 seconds.
Three, two, one.
Boom.
Done.
Beautiful.
Take a little breather, guys. We'll turn the music down. Ash will explain what is up next.
All right, so we are jumping with this one. If you need something to lay down on, like a yoga mat, grab that now. If you don't want to be on your floor, if it's a little bit hard. So with the first one, we're doing a pop squat. So what that looks like, when you jump, you're jumping out. When you come up, your feet are coming together. So jump out, sink into those hips, back up quick at the top. So pause for one at the bottom, quick feet, right back down. We are going to do 20 pop squats. Then we're going to our reverse crunch. From here, we're going to be on our back. Bring your hands right underneath, small of your back. Legs are up to the sky, toes are flexed towards your shins. From here, you're going to crunch up, push your heels towards the ceiling. So just a tiny little bum raise. You want to think of your sternum folding over towards your belly button when you're doing this. We are going for 10 reps, and then you're going to go back to your pop squats for 20 reps. Make sense?
All right, guys, 20 pop squats, 10 reverse crunches, 3 more minutes of madness starts in about 7 seconds.
See how much you can get through.
This is where we start going quicker.
3,
Get
2,
the heart rate elevated.
go.
Let's go. Remember, sink into the hips. Pause for 1. Quick at the top.
Let's get our tempos high, guys. I know Steph was called before the workout. She won't be after.
We're going at 20, then you're right down to the ground. Woo! Bring your hands underneath your back.
Get those heels to the ceiling.
Little bit of a lung raise.
Looking good, guys. Keep it up. such strong tempo.
Let's go. Back to your pop squat. If you feel comfortable, pick up your pace.
Oh yeah, baby. Legs are starting to burn up a little bit.
You were cold before, you're not cold now. We are halfway.
Woo! Keep going, guys.
You're flying.
Me and Ash tend to race each other sometimes. Little competitive nature.
Kick those heels right towards the sky. Woo.
No way.
Keep pushing, guys. We got a minute left. Stay in it.
Awesome, guys. Challenge yourself. It's a lot more mental than anything.
How much can you get through?
Karen, I know you're flying.
Second workout of the day.
Loving it.
Keep pushing.
30 seconds.
All the way to the end, guys. Try and get out another set of reverse crunches.
20 seconds and you guys get some water. Keep pushing.
Last 5, all the way to the end.
3, 2,
Don't break
One.
till he says break.
Done. Awesome, guys. Woo. Grab your water.
Awesome job, guys. Think about it this way. We're already 50% through the workout. 2 stations in the books. Now, on this next station, we will need some weight. So, soup cans come in really handy here. Wine bottles are a big hit. Anything that you can clasp in both hands. Any of that would work. So how the workout's going to work here now, it's 20 reps per movement. The first movement is called a lateral to reverse fly. So I'm going to angle that up for me a bit. A lateral, I'll show you guys from both points of view as well. Palms are coming just away from your hips here. So get them about like I always put my dumbbell here, and then I rest my hand right in position in here. From here, you're going to lift the arms up, and then behind. Down, back. So from a side point of view, we go to the side, pinch your shoulder blades together to open up your chest, bring them back into position, drop all the way back down. Up, behind, down, and in. So 20 reps like that. Then from there, assume a sumo stance. Wide feet, toes pointed out drastically. Quarter squat. You're going to punch across your body for 20 reps on each arm. Try and keep the same weight the whole time. Notice there's not much movement through the lower portion of my trunk. When I punch, I'm rotating through my upper back more than anything. So punch, hips stay straight, knees stay straight out, and we're driving back and forth for 40 total, 20 per side. So lateral, pulls, and back are 20. Jabs are 40, 20 per arm. You guys know the drill now. So we'll be starting in 10 seconds. Music gets loud. We're rocking.
With the laterals, stand with your feet together or split. Slight bend in the knee.
3, 2,
Let's
1,
get it, guys.
go.
Perfect. Side, behind, down, back. Two really good cues on here. When you're doing your lateral raise, make your pinky finger a little bit higher than your index finger. The other aspect, fight gravity on the way down. So Ash goes. Now down, 1, 2, up, behind, back, 1, 2. You can make 3 pounds feel like 300, varying your tempo.
No higher than shoulder height.
Solid, guys. You can tell we're married. Look how synced up we are.
Minute in already.
Get those shoulders working. We probably ready to go. We need so many squats.
Take your time with them. The station's going to be an upper body burner.
Keep pushing yourself, guys. Halfway through already. Sit low. Wide feet. Toes pointed. Remember, as I had mentioned, belly button below does not move.
Just the arms. Slight rotation.
20 punches per side, guys. 40 total. Bust these out quick. Get back to your lateral raise. What a fitting song.
Last minute of work.
Earl Friday drinks.
Summer's coming. We need nice upper bodies.
45 seconds, guys. Do not drop your weight.
Check your laterals. You're not going to get through a ton here, and that's okay.
Find that pace and stick with it. It's not about how fast you go, it's about never stopping.
Stay in it, guys. We got 20 left. Try and finish off this set. Woo!
Arm stretch, baby. 10 seconds.
That's 3.
2, 1, done.
Beautiful. Woo! Okay, grab your water. I'm going to explain our last station. For this one, we will need quite a lightweight. Like I'm only using 3 or 5 pounds. Soup cans work great for it. If you have dumbbells, the lightest dumbbells that you have. We're going to be jumping with it. So what we're going to do is a jumping jack variation with a front raise. So this is going to be for 30 reps. So take your dumbbells or whatever you're hanging on to. When you jack your feet out like a normal jumping jack, your arms are going to come in front of the body. So it will look like this. So just a jumping jack, instead of our arms going up overhead, our dumbbells are coming in front of the body. If you don't have any weight, honestly, just bring your hands in front of the body as well. That would work perfect. And then, so we're doing 30 of those. Second one we're doing, you're going to get into a plank position. This should be good. Here you go. So plank position, make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists. From here, you're going to jump your feet in and back out, in and back out. When you jump in, I want you pausing for 1 and then bring your feet out. So in, pause, back out. Don't just fly through them. Really activate your core when you're bringing the feet in. Make sure everything's stacked up over top of each other. We are doing 20 of those. Then you're going right back to your jumping jack with the front raise. Cool?
Okay, 10 seconds,
Last
guys.
3 minutes of work. Push yourself.
Give it everything you have right now. It's you versus you for 3 minutes.
3,
That's it.
2, 1, go.
30 reps.
There we go. Pace is looking good.
Once again, only up to shoulder height, no higher.
I hope you didn't need some more of this.
We're drinking a little water. Awesome. Right down to your plate.
Hold for 1. Woo!
We have 20 of these suckers.
Push yourself, guys. Come on. sweating already.
Start sweating now.
Find your
Got-
tempo.
Got to it.
Stick with it. Loving what I'm seeing, guys.
How much can you get through? How hard can you push for the last minute and a half? Woo! Right back to your plate.
Let's
Finish
go.
it off strong.
Let's go, Asher. Come on, guys. Less than 1 minute. Rob, you better be working, buddy. Get those shoulders burnt right out.
Nice, guys.
30 seconds. Come on.
All the way to the end. Let's go. Last 20 of the day. Woo.
Final 10. You can do anything for 10 seconds.
5. Stay in it, guys. All the way to the end.
2,
Finish
1.
strong.
Done.
Beautiful.
Woo.
Well done, guys.
Holy moly. We'll let you guys grab some water, take a bit of a breather, and then follow along with me for the stretch. Keep your yoga mats out. While everybody sips their water, I will explain what we're doing first. So, there's a lot of hip flexor work there. With the hip flexors, we're going to start the stretch in the same position. So, half kneel. I still want you to activate this glute. I want one hand stacked on the knee. No rocking here. So we're not rocking back and forth. You're extending till you feel the pull. From there, hand up to the sky. And then try a little bit of a dip to the opposing side. Stay in this, guys. We're going to go 45 seconds on each side. I'll catch my breath. I'll explain what's next. So what I want you guys to think about, if my right leg's down, my right glute is squeezed, I am reaching my fingertips towards the ceiling and across the body. So be active. Get a full pull through the obliques, through the hip flexors.
Really reach for the sky as high as you can.
We're here for 10 more seconds before we switch sides. Okay, guys, let's sink out of that one. Same thing, opposite side. Again, going over those cues. Lock yourself in. Get the glute squeeze first. Hand up to the ceiling. Now reach those fingers and tilt. See, I'm still elongated here the whole way. The more active I am with my fingers, more stretch I'm going to get through the hip flexor. Not uncommon for most people to be one side way tighter than the other. The nice part with the stretch is, if you want to stay on the one side for longer, go ahead. Get that area loosened up if that other area is not too bad. "15 seconds, guys."
Okay, so as we're stretching for 15 here, I just want to ask you guys a couple questions.
Go nuts.
Can you hear me?
Yep, but give me 2 seconds here, guys. I want to cue you on a new drill. So this next one we're going to do is called the 90-90 stretch again. No floating here. So 90 degrees and 90 degrees. From here, rotate your chest till it's over top of the kneecap. People have a tendency with this, they just want to bend forward. I want you guys to think about projecting your chest. So push your chest over top of that knee. Make sure your back stays flat. And the other two cues. Drive your ankle, drive your knee into the ground the whole time. Be active with the stretch. Aaron, go nuts, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. I just want, I know you guys offer group training and you guys do private training as well. Can you just, tell us how, Like, how does that differ? How's it structured? Maybe what sets you guys apart?
Yep. Do you want to answer that, Ash? Do you want me to answer?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so essentially the two services are small group training and private one-on-one training. Our small group, you come in and we do two different types of assessments on you. So we'll do a shoulder mobility and a hip mobility test. If you can pass both of those tests, we allow you to come into class. Let's switch sides, guys. And then we have about 19 time slots throughout the week. So we teach classes every single day, just at varying time levels. Rotate that chest over top of your knee, drive down. The classes never have more than 12 people in them, varying times throughout the day. And then with our private training, you come in, we take you through about an hour and a half consultation. We do a whole plethora of individual assessments based off of you. So all of our clients get body fat, girth measurements, weight measurements, all that good stuff. Where it varies a little bit is the individual physical assessment. So we'll screen your body through 7 different patterns. Once we find an asymmetry or something going on with one pattern, we'll break out another screen and continuously do that till we find the root cause of your problem. If we're unable to handle it, we had to send them over to Strive and vice versa. And so that's all individual. You pick your own time slots and we have a trainer there waiting for you.
It's all appointment based for our personal training.
So, now obviously you kind of touched on probably some of what I'm about to ask you, but
Guys, get into a half kneel. Extend that one leg out. Sorry, Aaron.
that's okay.
And shift that bum backwards. So now we're on semi-hockey pose here.
And like, I know from experience with you guys, but there's obviously, you know, lots of gyms, there's other personal training studios out there, like there's tons. So, you know, explain to people why, like what sets you guys apart. I mean, again, you talked about a few things there, but if you could just like, what's the main thing that sets you guys apart?
I think it's our community.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like a small community here. We have a small amount of clients, like we have a good amount of clients, but every single person knows everybody's name. They hold each other accountable almost to the point because they know each other. They know exactly what classes they're in, what their schedule's like.
Switch sides for me, guys.
I think that's a big one for us. It's
So-
literally like a family.
Yeah, the one thing we hear over and over again, non-intimidating. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're 65 years old and just came off knee surgery and you're working out with somebody that's an 18-year-old elite soccer player. You guys both going at the same pace, your own tempo. We can vary things for you. So I would definitely say that would be the community aspect of things.
Biggest thing.
Nice. And so you guys are obviously doing virtual stuff. Has that changed your hours of operation or?
It's definitely changed our hours. We're offering about 24 classes per week compared to our 19. And we have classes in the morning and then at nighttime. So we've separated them that way.
Everybody stand up for me.
And then obviously our privates,
Rotate one leg
because
over the other. Push your bum backwards.
bum goes back this
Watch
way.
what Ash is doing there, right? So bum back, just don't bend at that waist. Get a big deep stretch to the back of the leg.
Because most people are working from home, our private training schedule is quite different. We have most of them scheduled in the morning because that's when they can make it, whereas normally they would be like after work.
Yeah.
But it's different, like slightly, I would say.
Yeah, we don't work out with our clients when we're in the gym. That's on us to make sure that we're coaching, we're figuring out every single thing for you guys.
We would never really work out with our clients in person because we're so big on making sure that your form's correct and
Switch sides,
everyone's doing everything properly.
loop that foot over, drive your hips behind.
We're very big on injury prevention, but right now, with the virtuals, we are doing 4 classes a week with our clients, or 4 classes a day with our clients. It brings our energy up, and it's just it makes a better environment. And it's obviously it's more of a follow along basis, like you just saw us do right now. So.
And I like that you use the word coaching there, because that was one of the things that I wanted to just touch on and point out. One of the things I really liked about the session here is that you guys are like coaching throughout the whole thing. Like, I mean, I guess you could probably see people on the screens, but you know, like even with that exercise with the jumping jacks, like I was going up, I was going high.
Exactly.
And you know, a quick reminder throughout there, which is so important. Like you touched on, obviously us being in the health field, injury prevention, and also just getting out of the exercise what it's intended to do. So I think that's a big thing that you guys do. And another thing, which I want to spark some questions about the nutritional side, because we've obviously done the exercise stuff. How do you involve the nutritional side? What kind of advice, or how does that work for people who are?
I'll let Ash take it over.
So we, like Dan had said at the beginning, we work with people's lifestyles. We're not going to change your lifestyle. Like, we want to try and work with you as much as possible so you don't feel like you're ever actually dieting. So what we do, like, we don't do meal plans for people. We don't count calories for people. We don't have anyone count their own calories. What we do is we actually get people to write out, our clients to write out 7 days worth of their food. So every single thing that they put into their mouth, they write it down for us. And then they submit it at the end of the week, or whenever it fits their schedule best. And we'll analyze it. So we take a couple days at the beginning, we'll analyze it, and we'll really find like the lowest hanging fruit or like the biggest red flag. One thing that I usually, because I work with most people's nutrition, the biggest thing would be drinks with calories, and that's usually a big red flag for me. So right away, I'll nix that. Then we move on to like the next lowest hanging fruit or the next red flag that is easy enough for them to cut out. And it might be, I don't want to cut everything out of someone's life. So it might be cutting something down from 7 days a week to like 4 days a week. And then we'll break it down even further to like 2 days a week until I can get them at a point that I'm comfortable and they've created that habit. So for them, now it's second nature. And then we just move on to the next thing until we get them to a really good point that they don't ever feel like they're on a diet and it's something that they can work with.
Yeah, and so like all 4 of us on staff are all nutritionists. Everything is still individualized, like our coaching. So if you're vegan, or if you're a meat eater, or if you come from this culture and somebody comes from this culture, it doesn't matter. The foundational habits are the foundational habits. And it's with us working with you, analyzing and seeing your food that will help us make those step-by-step choices with you. And the ideal goal for us is to have sustainability. So we want to make it to a point where you want to come to work with us because you like working with us. You don't need us anymore. Yeah. You have all the information.
We want to teach you everything that you need to know, so then you can kind of just take it elsewhere and do it.
That should be applicable for the rest of your life. It's essentially the goal for us.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm going to open up to a couple questions. So far, we've got 2 people eligible for the prize. Rob, no, you are not one of them. Your question does not count. So, I mean, the exercise part of it is done. So let's open it up. Carly, I'm going to get you to ask your question because I actually had no idea that they did take this course. So let me just unmute you. There you go. Can you just ask your question? Carly? Or say, yeah. Or maybe you don't want to ask it, so I'll ask it for you. Okay, so first of all, you guys both took your prenatal and postnatal training course?
So I'm in the process of taking it right now.
Ash is prenatal and postnatal. That's actually an area that I do not know.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of taking it right now. I'm hoping to take my final test probably within the next like month and a half. I've been able to get through a lot of it during this, during COVID.
So her question though is if you've come across it yet, like how long post baby is a good time to start postnatal training?
As soon as you are okayed by the doctor. So usually it could be 4 to 6 weeks. It really depends on obviously if it's vaginal birth or a C-section. That C-section changes a lot for your training, because a lot of the biggest thing with postnatal and with actually prenatal is the core aspect of things. So your core training changes a lot. You have to do a lot of modifications. So even things like push-ups are not done on the ground anymore. They're done from elevation, mostly from a wall. Those mountain climbers that we did today, those are done from the wall because it just puts too much pressure on the core. So postnatal really comes down to your doctor and if you've had a C-section or not.
Nice. Okay. Jade asks, I guess when we're doing the exercises, typically how heavy should the wine bottle be? Is there, a suggestion you have there?
Yeah,
should you
so
it first, or?
We use an RPE scale. Essentially, it's called the rate of perceived exertion. The easiest way for me to explain it is I always say to people, you should have 2 in the bank. So let's say that an exercise called for 10 reps, the weight should be heavy enough where you could perform 10, but you're not able to perform 11. If you were not able to perform 8, for example, the weight is too heavy. So you always want to be able to have 2 more extra that you could push out with good form before you actually have to reduce or up that weight.
And
So
then another thing with the wine bottles, like what we've been saying, especially when we started and we didn't really know what household items people had in their house that they could use. My biggest thing was like something that you can grip and sustain it for the entire exercise. So if your grip is giving out before you're actually, say we're doing a bicep curl, your grip's giving out before your bicep, it's probably too wide for you to handle. So then I would bring it down from there, because really you're not working the proper muscle if you're just focusing on your grip the whole time.
yeah, the body tends to know more tension than it actually does weight. So we said it throughout the workout a little bit, but you can take 5, feel like 1,000 pounds if we slow our tempos down, if we do certain little nuances within the exercises that we obviously teach all of our clients. So weight is relative to you, but it's not the number one thing that you should be focusing on.
I like this question. It's not really specific to the exercise we just did, but I'm going to open this up to Josh, because I think it's going to give us a lot of insight as to how you guys came about Club Sweat. Josh, your mic is good to go.
Your question.
Oh, hey, that was awesome workout. Really enjoyed that.
Awesome.
Yeah, you definitely kept pushing us. I love the saying there on the wall, the why. I'm a big why guy myself. It's like Simon Sinek and stuff. So you mind sharing your initial kind of why you guys got started together?
Backstory, I started this 7 years ago. Ash jumped in about 3.5 years ago. So I grew up really overweight. I've been overweight my whole life. Long story short, a tragic accident happened with one of my best friends passed away, and it kind of gave me like a realization, like I need to change some things in my life. So I was about 19 and I ended up losing about 60, 65 pounds. And I had an aha moment at that point. And I thought like, it more or less gave me the confidence to do anything I ever wanted to do afterwards. And I knew I wanted other people to feel that way. And this was my avenue to do it, right? Because I had actually experienced it. I'm big on the experience aspect of things. So we want other people to experience life-changing effects of fitness is essentially the way we call it. And that could be anything for anybody. So it could be just feeling better about yourself, to have more confidence to go to a job interview. It could be something like me where it had a lot to do with weight. And as a 19-year-old guy, like trying to go get a girl, trying to go do something like that, like
Just like wanting to take your shirt off.
it spiraled into everything. So all of our coaches do have some different stories. Like Ash actually came from a very athletic background.
Yeah, so I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and so I've always been into fitness. I've always been an athlete. And I've always been into the gym. Like I've lifted weights since I was probably 16, 17 years old. But then I went traveling for about 4 years and put on a lot of weight. Even though I was still active, I was eating and drinking every day of my life. And I knew that I needed to get back to feeling good again. So I had moved to BC from Ontario, and then Dan and I met, and I actually never even wanted to get into the gym. This was my passion, and I wanted to leave it aside. And then honestly, like we kind of just realized like this is kind of what I have to do as well. And we work very, very well together. So then I quit my job as an esthetician and I jumped in because my passion's always been the training aspect of things, but I love nutrition and I love working with people's nutrition. So really I started with just people's nutrition and then slowly phased myself in to the actually training aspect of things.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of get you guys to answer this one more question. Well, it's kind of one quick one and then another one, and then I'll wrap it up and we'll do the prize draw. But as you guys are answering, I'm just gonna I'm gonna share my screen and throw your information up for anybody who wants to follow you guys on Instagram, go to your website for more info, or just ask you guys questions. All right. So the first one is basically it's just gonna be, can you tell people where you're located? And then after that, I'm just going to put Jade on the mic to ask her last question.
Yeah. So we're just up the street from Strive, actually. We're on 1018 Ridgeway Avenue. So where they built that new Safeway in Coquitlam, we're a block up and to the left. So if you guys know where the Legion is, we are right across the street from the Legion.
Or the Golden Boot Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
We're in the same plaza as the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now I gotta stop share. All right, so Jade, I'm gonna put you on the mic. If you can just ask that question about the squats.
Thanks for the workout, you guys. It was great. I'm sweating right now. I realize my house doesn't have as good ventilation as I thought. So I had a question. When you're doing the squats, you said to go back on your heel as you go down. I never get my squats done like properly. Do you have to rock back on your heel as you go down?
Not necessarily rock back. So in all honesty, it's a little bit hard to coach virtually. So
That's the one.
everybody's squat patterning is going to be different. But the key aspect I would want you to think about is we use a term called the tripod foot. So what you want to do, and I'll show you through my leg here a little bit, but if you notice my quad is kind of shifted in here. I want you to dig your big toe, your little toe, and your heel into the ground. So you create a tripod.
You're spreading your toes.
And then you want to push your pinky toe outside of your shoe. So you see how my heel and my quad and my knee track over top of the middle of my foot, not over top of my knee. So when we can screw the ground in, that's the first and foremost thing that we want to do. And then everybody's positioning is going to be a little bit different. If you find that you are having a hard time squatting, it could be varied of like deficiencies. But what I would say to you is you can do a couple things like stand against a wall, for example, face towards the wall, squat down so it forces you to stand up. Throw in a wine bottle or a laundry detergent or something. The reason we get a lot of people to squat like this as opposed to squatting like this like a normal person would is just because of the weight can play a big factor in helping you sit into a proper position as well.
Keep the chest tall. So that's why I gave that cue, because I find sitting back on the heels is going to bring your chest up compared to your chest down towards the ground.
Yeah, if you find that you're floating forward, for example, a lot, that hip flexor stretch that we gave you at the very beginning, that would be my go-to for you. Say, stretch those hip flexors out because it could just be pulling you forward too much.
And that's a big issue with females, especially if you've got babies, super tight hip flexors and just hips. You have such a forward tilt with squats. So you always want to try and keep that tall chest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so before we do the prize, just want to wrap up here by, first of all, thanking the Chamber to partner up with us to make this all possible. In general, if you guys have any questions about any type of injury, just want some advice, just call our clinic hotline. You can talk to any of our therapists that you want, so don't be shy. For future webinars, the registration, you can go to the Chamber website, go to their events page, or you can also go to our website that's up there. Just go to the webinars. We're always going to be adding more, and you can watch the recorded versions. Usually they're up a day after, and spread the word as much as possible. Really appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram. We're always going to be providing updates as well. Next Wednesday, we've got Patina Brewing. They're going to be doing briskets and beers, so it's a little kind of food and beer pairing. We are going to tell them, well, they know they're going to encourage everyone to kind of pre-order, so you can go and pick it up right before this the webinar, so you can kind of understand and taste what they're trying to tell us. And then we'll talk a little bit about beer and the making process as well. And the next day, we've got a golf pro coming on, Patrick Lago. He's going to share tips about a golf swing, drills, all kinds of fun stuff. And we've got much more coming up. So we're going to do the draw. It's a 1 in 4 chance here.
Okay, Aaron, can I just answer that one question really quickly? There's a question that was asked on there.
Oh, I didn't see it.
What's your go-to exercise movement? What are you going to stay consistently doing? Everyone's going to be a little bit different. There's 6 foundational patterns: squat, do some sort of deadlift, some sort of hinge, either do some sort of pushing movement like a push-up, some sort of rowing movement where you do a pull-up, grab some weights, roll them in, and then some sort of core variation and a lunge variation. Pick one that you like best, that works best for your body.
And then you'll stick with it.
As long as you stick with it, that is the best move in the world.
Great advice. So true. We know that all too well with giving out rehab.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to enjoy doing. All right, 1 in 4 chance here. The winner is Carly.
Awesome. Carly, you better get in here.
She'll be cashing in that, what'd you say, 4 to 6 weeks post-baby?
Postnatal.
All right. Okay, well, thanks, Dan and Ash. That was awesome. I appreciate you guys taking the time, answering everyone's questions, and for coming on board. Thank you, everyone, for joining and supporting local here. spread the word, and register for the other ones. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Okay, take care.